Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, everybody. Delmas here again. Um, this topic I choose for today is a very complicated one. It's very complex in itself. But I'm gonna try in my best way to explain it in a way that we can understand without all the big words and so forth, right? And maybe I can use some example of myself along the way, but we see how it goes. Remember, everything I say is not script, it's all off the head. If I make a mistake in my statement, we're all human, right? We gotta love ourselves as humans. So I choose the topic for today of love versus lust. Now, people get these two mixed very, very, very easily. And sometimes we believe in the lust so deeply that we think it's love, right? But they both share some similarities, but you have to know the difference, right? A lot of people grow up and think they find love when it's actually lust, and then they claim they grow out of love and so forth. But even if you're not a Christian, the Bible is a map for a good life, right? The Bible has almost every situation laid out and things you can do and what's right and what's wrong and how you can use it as a guide, right? Hence why I call it a map. So even if you're not a Christian, the Bible is a good book to get up and read. I'm a believer of the Bible, so yeah. And according to the Bible, there's a scripture that I love, and it's 1 Corinthians 13 verse 4 to 8, and that gives the definition of what love is, right? I'm not going to read it out to you. I want you to go and read that one, and you'll understand what most of this and what I'm talking about is about, right? This again is another image that was in my head, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and then I started talking to myself, and then the image pretty much explained itself to me, right? So, lust comes on different levels, right? Love, on the other hand, comes in different categories, not different levels. There's love for your family, there's love for your spouse, soulmate as I call it. There's love for your friend, there's love for your enemies. And you as a person should not have enemies, but if people have something against you, there's love for them too. I love everybody the same, just in different categories, right? But lust, on the other hand, lust comes in different forms and shapes, right? And the more deeper that form is, the more you confuse the word lust for love, right? So you gotta be able to tell the difference. And what I mean is, you can see here I put love, and there's no ending, right? Because true love has no ending. True love endureth all pain. True love endureth everything. True love lasts to the end, right? And that's why we have to be careful when we're looking for love, or found love, because it has to be genuine. It has to be something that you know could endure to the end, right? These days, people use the word love, but it has no value anymore. And you gotta be careful when you use this word. They have to have meaning, but some people don't use it anymore, right? And it's just to show you how the society is going, that the evil is taking over and all good things, all love is being lost, right? And we gotta wake up and realize that love is the answer, you know? I can't remember which artist sing the song, but love is the key, open the door. I think it's Jack Hill, I may be wrong, but I think so. Yeah, in terms of lust comes on different levels, right? And behind me I explained a little bit of it, but based on what was in my mind of the drawing that I placed on the board. So I'm gonna start from the right. I put porn here, right? Me personally, I've been, a lot of people are gonna laugh when I say it, because for some reason it's a conversation that seems to be of norm to people, that porn is normal, you can watch porn, it's no big deal. But I posted in the previous video, controlling your thoughts and mind, that when you watch porn, it draws you to lust, right? A lustful mentality. And when you do a lot of lusting, it leads to sex out of marriage, right? A topic much people doesn't like to talk about because a lot of us fall into that category. I was guilty of it before. Now I'm married happily as ever. I'm in love if you want to know. So yeah, but this is mainly that 5-minute good feeling you get when you look at porn, right? And you lust for the person in the video, sexual drive start going. That's a form of lust, right? You're lusting for the male, female, whatever case it is that you're watching, and that leads you to the thought of other human beings that you see on the outside. Your thoughts come back from the porn video, and you start lusting, right? So why put it at a small level? Because it doesn't last long. It lasts for 5 minutes and then it goes out the window. Some a little bit more because it's continuous, right? So that's one level. The next level is looks, right? You start dating people as you get older and you get into the dating world. Some people start dating based on looks, right? For me, this is a bit of racism because you just picking the look of the person, and race is about your outward appearance, right? So this isn't real love. This is just visual lusting, right? You like the way the person looks, but you don't stop to think about their personality, right? And personality also plays into lust later on, and it plays into love too, right? So you gotta be careful which level of lust you're on, because the deeper the level of lust, the closer it comes to love, and the closer you become to thinking you're in love when you're actually not. My third one is material, right? We all know this, the love for money. People run down other people for what they have, for the material thing. And they're not even focused on who that person really is. All they see is their pocket. When their pocket is blown out like this and you want to run and date them, right? Because they have a nice ride, nice house, nice boat. That's not love, it's lust. It's gonna last for a minute and it'll go away, right? And by a minute I mean something lasts for years, but like I said, love lasts forever. True love. So if you're lusting for the material thing, change your mindset on that. And yeah, I talked about personality before. You see how close personality is to love? It's because usually at this stage, this is when people engage into marriage and so forth, and they think they love this person. And that's because usually that person is of a good nature, right? Make them laugh, do things for them, and a lot of time they envy that person's personality. They want to be that person, right? So by being this and having conversation with them and so forth, after a while you develop a connection, right? And then you start to think, man, that this is true love, but it wasn't the soul connection. It was a mental connection of that person's personality and who you would like to be. And these ones, like I said, usually lead to marriage and so forth. But it has an ending, right? Love has no ending. And if this has an ending, then it usually leads to divorce and so forth. So we really have to be careful when we're putting ourselves out there to not get it confused between lust and love, right? Another thing when it comes to love, I notice the generation more and more, their hormones are through the roof. Sexual activities are non-stop. That's why there's so much disease spreading, there's so much babies being born without a father, mother can't take it, leaving. You gotta wait for love, man, don't rush it. I tell my daughter this a lot these days. Stay young as long as possible, you know what I mean? Because when you get older, life takes the high road, man, it just keeps going and it goes fast. So that's why I tell my daughter, stay young as long as possible. Because your youthful days are your happiest days, are your best days. So if you have kids, tell them don't rush to grow up. it ain't nothing much here that you're missing. In your youthful days, I wish I had made more advantage of my youthful times, right? So now, if you manage to get past all of these, love is the real thing, right? Love is that special connection, right? Love endures all pain. Love doesn't cheat. Love lasts forever, right? For the full definition, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 and 8. Read it up, check it out. You're probably wondering what this one is. I have here age and I bracket youth. Because I'm not necessarily referring to pedophile or anything. I'm referring to in general for where people mix love with lust. And this usually comes when people start, okay, you're in real love, right? But you start getting distracted by the ways of the world. You start getting distracted by the devil, by the evil spirit, you know what I mean? You start getting distracted by lust from the word love. So, you're married for years. You have everything you need. God has blessed you with everything. And you have kids, everybody's all happy. But now you're a little bit older, right? Let me say you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever the case is. And the mentality of people aging these days are getting out of whack. Nobody want to get old anymore. As a young kid, I personally accepted being born, living a life, kicking the bucket, you know what I mean? And maybe I'm looking at it from this point of view because I'm still a bit young, but I have learned to adapt it that way. So I'm already accepted the fate of life, you know what I mean? But the important thing is we enjoy our moment that we're here, right? So, back to this one. When you hit the age of 40, 50, 60, whatever, and you see a young girl, I wouldn't use the word girl, you see a young woman in her, as they call it, her prime, 19, 20, 21, whatever, you start lusting at her age. You start missing your young days, right? You start lusting the tight bodies, as the older guys say it. And you get distracted from the real love. And then you start lusting for the youth and you start going after these younger female. But you gotta remember, you and your wife were young at one point, right? And you all age together. And that true love is supposed to be remain strong because you're looking at your wife's new outward appearance and comparing it to the youth. But you gotta remember, these youth too are gonna grow older. And as an older man, you and your wife already shared that time, right? Leave the young kids, and I call them kids, even 19, 20, they're still kids, man. Leave the young kids, let they have their experience, let they have their opportunity, let they grow up with their age group, you know what I mean? And fight it, because like I said, love is all the way to the end. Don't get them mixed up, don't get them confused. Love is a beautiful thing, man. And it's not even a thing, it's just beautiful, right? But one thing I've noticed, right, and this had happened to me just recently. I was having a discussion with one of my ex-best boss, but he's one of my good friends, and I look up to him a lot, right? And we were heading for pizza, right? And I tell him he has faith like Job, and I respect him very much for that. But I was having a conversation, and I told him, I said, man, how can I love somebody when I'm not even happy in my own skin? I don't even love me. So how could I love my wife? How could I love my kids? How could I love the Creator if I don't love me, right? And this is a very strong root, man. We went into discussion. I can't remember the word, but I'm going to tell you what I discovered, right? If you can't love yourself and who you are, you don't know what love is, right? So why you venture into the love field of trying to find love from somebody else if you can't love you, man? Think about it. Think about it. After I start looking at myself differently and I start feeling a newfound love for myself, everything changed. I start looking at things differently, right? I'm perfect. Every situation I put in is perfect. Even when I make mistake, it's a perfect mistake. You know what I mean? From a different perspective, nobody is perfect. Okay, I understand that. In that perspective, I'm not. But in my view, I'm perfect. I make mistake, it's a perfect mistake. It was done for a reason. It was done for a greater cause in the future that I can't see. And I can't manifest the ability to think of what that may be. You know what I mean? But we all go through different situations. And those situations lead us to where we need to be, right? like I said, the world is energy, and the energy goes one way and come back the other way. That's why they say karma is a bitch. It goes around and comes back. You put good vibe come back. You put bad vibe come back, right? So when you look at yourself in the mirror and you have a low self-esteem, man, don't go looking for love. Check yourself first. Figure out what's wrong with your mind and what you need to do to fix yourself, right? Because you gotta be able to know what love is for yourself before you can go and love another, right? I used to have a lot of thoughts about what people think about me, who hates me, how do I look in front of other people. I try to be like other people, dress like other people. And then I realized that's all crap, man. Love yourself, and then whatever they wear, that's their problem. What you wear should make you happy, right? I even had someone tell me, yo, why you wearing only vests in your video? I'm home. I'm happy in my vest. I don't care. You want me to take it off? I'll take it off. See? I love myself, man. I have nothing to hide from no one, right? And that's the mentality we have to start adopting. We have to love ourselves, and then we can start go looking for love. So don't get it twisted. Love never ends. And make sure you're in love before you commit to marriage and sexual activity, because sex is supposed to be within marriage, right? And marriage is all part of the love union and the journey of the real love, right? So, people, open your mind. Don't get it twisted. Some of you laughing at me right now, I don't care. I'm in love with me. I hope you're in love with yourself, right? So, that's just Delmas again giving you something to think about. Have a lovely day. I love you all.